Back to the Public Interest SA story now, how they're taking two real estate agents to the Property Practitioners Regulatory Authority because of their connection to the Tembisa Hospital scandal. Tebogo Khaas is the chair of Public Interest SA. Tebogo, good afternoon to you. What action are you taking here?
Good afternoon, Stephen. We already yesterday, after the press release, did register a complaint with the Property Practitioners Regulatory Authority in respect of the two agents mentioned in that News 24 story, as well as the company itself, the real estate company itself, because we believe what their conduct amounts to helping or conniving with those in the process of the criminal justice system, in the sense that, per the report, they were able to ensure that there was no publicity given to the sale of such a property, the one in Hurlingham, to avoid media snooping or reporting on it prior to the sale. And this they did, per the report, with the full knowledge that Mr. Maumela and some of his entities or entities implicated in the Tembisa Hospital corruption were under investigation by the SIU. So this on its own gives rise to the Property Practitioners Regulatory Authority to consider taking action against individuals mentioned, as well as the company, the real estate company affected. As for Mr. Maumela, we believe that we will leave that for the SIU to ensure that any such proceeds that may have emanated from that sale gets to be interdicted or frozen, as well as those that may have been concluded prior to this one, monies must be recovered and ensure that they are frozen.
Are you absolutely certain that these two real estate agents broke any rules, laws or regulations?
Stephen, if you assist somebody to try and avoid consequences, to avoid the law, knowing full well that you are spiriting or you are helping them hide funds which may be interdicted by way of a court order, that on its own, we believe, we submit, obviously we are not lawyers, but we submit that is tantamount to aiding and abetting somebody to help conceal a crime or to dissipate proceeds of a crime. That if you do that with the full knowledge that such transaction is intended, there's criminal intent behind it, that should be a concern, and that's what the SIU would do with. For the Property Practitioners Regulatory Authority themselves, we want them to investigate if such conduct does not transgress any of their regulations for these agents.
I mean, this must have happened before, Tebogo. I mean, we've seen people, you and I both know, we've seen all sorts of corruption scandals where people bought property quickly, sold property quickly. Do you think maybe there's a bigger role that estate agents are playing that has never really been uncovered before?
In fact, I'm glad you're asking that question because, Stephen, we will be hosting a conference or a summit in October dealing with this type of conduct, the illicit economy. And there are players, companies such as the one that is cited in the property sector, that enable the laundering of money, of criminal proceeds from criminal activity into property, cleaning it and making sure that it can enter the regular monetary financial system of this country. And that is part of the reasons why we as a country are currently grey listed. It is actions such as this that paints this country in a bad light as a safe haven for criminal conduct, including such as the one that Mr. Maumela is involved with.
In the meantime, the Tembisa Hospital investigation seemed to be taking forever. I mean, we had a hospital buying skinny jeans during a pandemic, Tebogo. Do you believe the Gauteng Health Department is actually determined to find out what happened and hold those accountable?
You know, Stephen, that is heartbreaking because not so long ago, it was almost a year, since the CEO of the Tembisa Hospital was suspended. Only next month is he scheduled to appear before a DC, a disciplinary committee hearing. And we might very well expect that might also be postponed. You might find that by the time he faces real consequence, time would have lapsed, evidence would have been lost or tampered with, and that is why we're having a problem with consequence management. And finally, because today I just came from a seminar or a workshop on whistleblowers, how this impacts on whistleblowers. Because in the end, as a whistleblower, if you're sitting there with information and you realize how slow the wheels of justice grind, it doesn't give you confidence in the system, the criminal justice system. And that is why many would-be whistleblowers rather would keep quiet than raise up. And also it is important because even Babita herself, the late Babita Deokaran, the Department of Health or the Gauteng provincial government was querying, was debating or disputing whether indeed she was a whistleblower. Something that we found very flustered. We were flustered to realize that such conduct does not in itself amount to whistleblowing. And government is letting us down. The Gauteng provincial government is letting us down to let this go at a snail pace as it seems to be in respect of the Tembisa Hospital is concerned.
Public Interest SA Chair Tebogo Khaas, really appreciate the time. Thank you very much indeed.